This thing's getting worse by the second in Indy. And there's an argument to make that a player signs a contract, a player needs to show up. But in this particular situation with JT and the Colts ownership specifically, and the things that Irsay's saying and continuously doing, and the way he's presenting himself in this situation, it's really disgusting. And I don't blame JT for the way he feels. I don't blame JT for wanting out. I don't blame JT for doing some of the things he's doing right now to make a statement and to potentially initiate a trade and hopefully change the mind of the Colts, ownership brass, Irsay, to try and force and facilitate a trade. Try and force and facilitate another team to come knocking at the door and saying, hey, you know what? We'll make an offer that you can't refuse and we'll change your mind, Irsay, who says he's not trading JT. But Indy wants to put him on the NFI list, and JT says, I was never hurt. These are not true statements, and it's getting really messy. And to be honest with you, it's becoming really, really difficult not to side with JT on this, despite contracts being contracts. We'll get into it right now. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So this comes off the back right here of this breaking news that Zach Moss, running back for the Colts, broke his forearm, putting an even bigger spotlight on the running back room as Rappaport speaks about here. So the Colts are in trouble. They're losing running backs. Not that Zach Moss was a huge running back asset for the team, but you start losing bodies. Now you got to bring in other running backs. You got to spend more money at the position, and you're being very stubborn and ridiculous as an organization. Jim Irsay especially saying we're not trading JT. Earlier we had this report yesterday where he came out and said he would not. I don't know if this is the exact one. No, this is the Zach Charbonnet situation. Let me find this tweet and I'll pull it up on screen. But this is the response from Irsay when he was asked about whether he would trade JT. JT met with him behind closed doors, said he wanted a trade. He requested a trade, and then Irsay responded with, "We are not trading Jonathan. We are not trading Jonathan." I'm going to pull up the exact quote so you guys can check it out. But this is getting messy. It's getting ridiculous, and at this point, I don't know where it's going to go from here. I think at this point, it's kind of one of those things where we got to hope another team steps in and potentially saves Jonathan Taylor. Let me see if I can find this. That's the Burrow situation. I got news all over the place, so bear with me as I try and pull one of these pieces of news on screen here. I think this might be it. I'm not sure. That's not it. That's more Joe Burrow news. Maybe it's this one. If this is not it, I can't. That's Aaron Rodgers. I'll have to find the news somewhere. Okay, I got it somewhere on my system. But essentially, Irsay said we're not trading Jonathan. If I can remember word for word, we're not trading Jonathan. End of discussion. Not today. Not in October. Very stubbornly saying it's cemented in. No matter what anybody says, we're not trading Jonathan Taylor. And now they want to put him on the NFI list. And JT responds with this because they said he has a back issue. He has a back issue. We're going to put him on the non-football injury list, the NFI list. And JT responds with this on Twitter. And Rappaport retweeted it. Never had back pain. Never reported back pain. Not sure who sources are, but find new ones. Now, in defense of Rappaport and ESPN and everybody else that's been reporting this, it's not on them. This is on the Colts, okay? The Colts, back pain, reported back pain, possible NFI list. This is on the Colts, not on ESPN, not on Rappaport, not on the people talking about it. So JT's upset saying your sources are bad. meaning the Colts are giving misinformation about what's going on with JT. To put him on the NFI list with JT denying there's an issue, they'd essentially, according to Rappaport, this is his exact words, Ian Rappaport said, they would have to do so with the intention that JT had failure to disclose the injury. So they're going to have to accuse JT of failure to disclose an injury in order to put him on the NFI list, which JT says never had back pain, never reported back pain. Not sure who your sources are. Find new ones. This is getting messy. And again, we could circle back real quick and say, hey, you know what? He signed a contract. He needs to come to camp. He needs to go to work. He signed a contract. But the way Irsay's displayed himself, the way Irsay's acted and behaved, it reminds me a lot of the Commanders' previous ownership situation. To be honest with you, I'm starting to get a real Dan Snyder vibe from Irsay in the way he's conducting himself. Imagine running a franchise where you refuse to trade your player, you refuse to extend your player, you spit on your player as you tell him you're not going to extend him, instead of lifting him up and saying, look, he's an amazing player, we want him here forever, we like him here forever, we don't have the funds to do this right now, we can't extend him. Instead, and you can say, oh, JT should come to work, he signed a contract, you could say that, but he meets with ownership. Ownership says things like, if he died tomorrow, or if I died tomorrow and he was out of the league, is what he said, sorry. If I died tomorrow and he was out of the league, no one would miss us, is what Irsay says. And he also says they're not changing the way that they do things. They're not extending him. They're going to put him on the NFI list, the non-football injury list. When he's reporting no injury whatsoever, Irsay's acting in a despicable manner. And I don't blame JT for not wanting to play for this situation, this team. And it's a shame. It's a damn shame. A damn shame that Anthony Richardson lands in this situation, which could have been very good. Felt like it had a lot of good vibes at first when Anthony Richardson's getting paired up with JT. Pittman, I don't think he's an elite wide receiver 1 by any means, but he is a excellent wide receiver 2 for this team. And if they brought in another additional wide receiver later that was a little better than Pittman, Pittman becomes an absolute, gem at his role and in his position. Jelani Woods I like a lot. They can make this offensive line great again. And they could do a lot of good things. Problem is, if you're broken at the top, it's going to trickle down. And at this point, I don't know that I can trust a single Colt player in 2023. That goes for Jelani Woods, unfortunately, which was something I didn't think I'd have to come out and say. That goes for JT especially until JT's in a new situation. And I'm not banking on this ownership. I'm not banking on Indy doing the right thing for their organization, getting rid of a disgruntled player that wants out and trying to at least move on and create something better. They're going to have, what are they going to put this guy on the NFI list? What do they plan on doing with him? It's not going to happen because JT's being very, very vocal and he's going at them via social media, and the power's on JT's side. Like, this is going to end badly for the Colts if they keep going down this road. They can't have a pissing match with a guy like JT who looks and appears to be doing the right things to a degree, okay? Everyone's going to say, oh, he signed a contract, he should show up to work. That would be the case if the ownership didn't look like a fool. And again, the more like fuel to throw on this fire was this report right here with Zach Moss breaking his forearm. It's like, now they're down a running back. Now they got to go spend money on the running back position that they apparently don't want to pay the best player on their team. They don't want to pay the best player on their team more money, keep him happy, keep him locked up. They'd rather what? Go grab another free agent, go grab a Zeke Elliott, a Leonard Fournette. Yeah, I mean, Zach Moss is not a great part of this team, okay, a big piece of this, but it's a body down now. They got to bring in another running back to just fill the void. This is a disaster waiting to happen. I'm not going near a single Colt player. You shouldn't go near a single Colt player. This kind of means I'm really fading Anthony Richardson. Unfortunately, as a rookie, I didn't want to say that. I'm not saying he can't bounce back from this. I'm not saying he can't run for a bunch of touchdowns, but at this point, I'm not feeling the Anthony Richardson vibe because I feel like this thing is broken from the top down. And I feel very, very bad for Colts fans right now because they're watching their ownership completely botch this entire situation. JT is your best player. You're treating JT with major disrespect. You're spitting on JT. You're publicly blasting JT. He's blasting you back, by the way, Irsay, in the Colts. He's taking you to the cleaners because guess what? He's got pretty much the entire fan base on his side. Because this smells an awful lot like the Commander ownership from the past situation. And I don't think any of us want to see that happen to the Indianapolis Colts. This is a despicable display of decision making from the ownership level. And I don't know what's going to happen. This is also this news right here. Tim Patrick was just carted off the field with a left leg injury. Trainers checked out his foot and his ankle area. Could be a high ankle sprain if I had to guess. There could be something broken. Who knows? There could be some sort of knee damage as well. But apparently on the initial reports, my guess would be a very high ankle sprain or a mid ankle sprain. Something severe enough to cart him off. But again, carting off is a precautionary measure. You're not going to make an injured player walk to the locker room. So we got to pump the brakes a little bit. But Tim Patrick has had a history of injuries. The ACL injury, now this injury. I don't know that I have any faith in him staying healthy at this point. Don't know that I believe in Sutton. Don't know that I believe in Judy. I don't know that I believe in Mims. I don't know that I believe in Russell Wilson. I don't know that I believe that Sean Payton can turn things around right away. I'm kind of fading Denver and Indy in this one live stream. I hate to be negative. We'll come back with a positive live stream in a little bit, I promise you, because there's somebody I want to talk about that I think is getting no positive reports out about him and no hype at all to the degree he needs it. And I don't think any of you know who I'm going to talk about. I don't think you do. But when I come out live, I'm going to preach that this man is going to change everybody's perspective on his situation and his team, and I'll bring that up on the next live stream. I don't want to touch it here. This is going to stay, unfortunately, negative. I'm going to be a negative Noah right now in this live stream because the Tim Patrick injury, the Denver Bronco vibe, not feeling it. Mark Cleveland dropping a $50 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Underdog Fantasy, use promo code Smitty. You see the sign. Mark Cleveland, I can't thank you enough, and I'm so glad to see you here, bro. Thanks for keeping us up with the NFL news and everything to do with fantasy all year. Number one show in fantasy. Appreciate you, Mark Cleveland. You also get a bold prediction when you drop a $50 hauler on the bold prediction board. So, Mark, I would like it. You can text me your bold prediction. I want you to think about it. No pressure. I want you to text me your bold prediction. We're gonna put your $50 hauler bold prediction on the board. So just text it to me. Text it to me on the phone line on the text line. And the winner of this is gonna co-host the show via phone or on video if you want. And Mark, you can even give that away to somebody if you want. If you don't want to come on, I'm not sure how much you want to be on camera, but you can call in and co-host at least a segment or two if you win this. But I want your bold prediction, Mark Cleveland. So send that to me, and I appreciate you doing that. I will say this, guys. I will say similar super chat here from Angry Angus. Angus says, "Smitty, it's Angus. Smitty, it's Angus."
Angus A. Superch at $1.99 from Angus A. Smitty, it's Angus.
Thank you, Angus. Appreciate you. Angus is my boy, Blue. Mark Cleveland's my boy. I appreciate Mark Cleveland. Mark, you were the man, the myth, the legend. And I believe the first super chatter of the day is Mark Cleveland. And the first super chatter of any show gets a standing ovation on top of the $20 home.
Mashed potatoes!
Yep. So Mark Cleveland to the absolute moon. There's a way out of this. There's a way out for JT owners or prospective JT owners. It's not a simple path, okay? Just like there's a way out for Devontae Adams. Just like there's a way out for maybe Josh Jacobs. But my fear for Jacobs is that the injury risk for showing up late and holding out, the lack of motivation for him, and his ability to focus, I believe, is going to be different. And everyone's going to say, Smitty, how in the hell do you come up with that? Because I've seen the guy in the past, man, make horrible off-the-field decisions. And I just don't trust that Jacobs has the right mindset right now. I think he's not thinking clearly. He's not showing up to camp. There's nothing he can do. He's not going to initiate anything from the Raiders. He could try and get a 1-year adjusted, upgrade. But I think the precedent's been set that it's going to be at most $1 million or something like that they're going to adjust that deal. And maybe he gets that. Maybe holding out will get him that. But holding out is going to increase the likelihood of injury. Not to mention his offense won't be moving the football down the field. 8-man front after 8-man front. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to lead them into the red zone at all. This is going to be a really, really bad year for Jacobs. And he's going to get either injured or play so badly that the deal he wants is not waiting for him. And it's unfortunate because I do believe he deserves it. I believe Jacobs played so well last year. As much as I don't really enjoy drafting him this year, and I rip on some of the decisions he's made in terms of threatening his fans in the past and all that, that's all behind us. I'm not using that as I'm biased against Jacobs. I'm here honestly, objectively telling you he played so well last year, won the rushing title. He deserved to get a new contract. And I stand by that, regardless of how I feel about him. I stand by that. But he's not going to get it coming out of 2023 if he's facing 8-man front after 8-man front and holding out, higher risk of injury. Let's make Jimmy G beat us. Let's stack the box. It's going to be a bad year. Adams has a little bit of a way out because if they bring in Wentz and Jimmy goes down in week 3 or just quits the team or whatever, I don't expect Jimmy G to play even half a season. Then maybe Wentz is just throwing the ball and he's delivering it to Adams in a way that he did, with other players, because he can throw downfield at least a little bit. Or he gets traded into some crazy, unthinkable trade that doesn't seem logical now, but it could later. Adams could get out of it, but how much time has passed? How many games have you lost? How many frustrated weeks have you sat through and you said it's too late for me to do anything? So Adams and Jacobs don't feel like they can get out of their situations very easily because Adams is not getting traded initially, probably won't all year, but it would be like late in the season, mid-season. Jacobs isn't gonna get so lucky because they're not gonna trade him. And so, he has to have Wentz come in and move the ball down the field, and then he gets in there. But how many games go by? So Adams and Adams and Jacobs are hard to get out of their situations in time to help you without destroying your season if you draft them and bank on them. JT, there is a way out for JT. Irsay said he's not trading him. But what if he does end up getting an offer he can't refuse? What do? Do you just let him sit here and you not take advantage of building around your young quarterback when this is not your future anyway because you're ruining it? You're spitting on it. You're completely just dismantling your running back future through the avenue of JT because he doesn't want to play for you any longer. He's not going to sign a long-term deal with you. He's going somewhere else next offseason, and you're so upset about him. You're not going to franchise tag him unless Irsay wants to just absolutely destroy him. And there's a chance he does, to be quite honest with you. This feels a little bit like Browns ownership Houston Texans ownership trying to destroy Deshaun Watson. Regardless of how much fault Watson had in his situation, believe me, I've gone over it. They still were out to get him. This owner, Houston Texans owner, was out to get Deshaun Watson. He wanted to destroy him. That's just facts. It doesn't matter if you think Watson deserved whatever. This ownership was out to destroy him. Okay, I love the GM, Caseros. I love the way the Houston Texans are building right now. This is not a knock on the direction of the team currently. It looks really, really good. It's in line. It's doing really good things. I love the way they're building. They feel very 2022 Detroit Lion positioning, like where they're going to turn some heads, not make the playoffs, but turn some heads in 2023, maybe potentially, improve the team in the offseason. But Taylor, this feels like they're out to get him. Why would they franchise tag him to destroy him? I don't know. But he's going elsewhere. He's not signing a long-term deal. They got to trade him. If they don't trade him, They're idiots for not trading him. I understand you don't want a player to dictate where he's going to go, when he's going to go. I want to be traded. Oh, yes, sir, we'll trade you. You're under contract, but we'll trade you. But some situations, you got to take accountability for your own actions. And Irsay and the Colts need to take accountability for the direction that they've driven this in, and they need to free this man. And I don't know if many teams are going to come a-knocking. I really don't know. I don't know if it's going to be, yesterday we said the Chargers would be a very interesting situation. I know a lot of Eckler owners would be devastated, but from a football perspective, to get the Thunder and Lightning back into LA and to give Herbert that amount of weaponry, that would put Herbert back into the top 5 quarterback conversation for even me. You know, who's waiting a year. It's not that I'm a hater of Herbert. You guys know I tell you all the time I love him, even though a lot of you think I don't. I do love Herbert. You give Herbert JT and you move Eckler out wide a lot more. You throw to him a lot more. You get Eckler 900 yards and 500 and 900. Give him 900 receiving and 700 rushing, 650 rushing. Get him back to what he was before he converted into a between the tackles workhorse. Maybe Eckler stays healthy for a full year, at least one more year, if you can convert him over to a Jerick McKinnon role, which is what Eckler really invented in a sense for RBs, because this man was the definition of wide receiver running back, not running back wide receiver. So you get JT into that Chargers situation, and if I'm the Chargers brass, I'm looking at this from a let's win a Super Bowl perspective. Let's go get JT for probably less than the Christian McCaffrey trade. So you're looking at like a second and a fourth rounder maybe to get JT. Do it and do it live. Do it now. It would make you win. It would make you win potentially a playoff game or two minimum the first go at it. JT's an absolute asset to any team, and I would definitely do that. What's the NFI? It's NFI list, not the NFL list. The NFI list is the non-football injury list, and they're trying to put him on the NFI list for a back injury, which JT says does not exist. Never had a back pain, never reported back pain, not sure whose sources are, but find new ones is what JT said. So Colts ownership would have to literally go out there and accuse JT of failure to report an injury in order to put him on the NFI list, which is a harsh accusation that the Colts can't prove. And the Colts are making a despicable display of themselves. Yeah, so Tim Patrick, looks like it. Some are saying Achilles, some reports. Probably this guy has got a lot of injuries he can't shake, so Tim Patrick definitely looking like he's not going to help anybody this year. Colts running back Zach Moss broke his forearm, so the Colts are in even dire need at running back. Super chat here from Aloha. I'm back, says Aloha. Aloha to the moon.
To the moon.
Aloha's my guy. Aloha, we're waiting for you to break the single super chat record in a single live stream. We've got it right here. It's a gifted membership all time was Double D. Where's DW? Where's DW? I haven't seen DW in quite some time. This is an old one. DW, where are you? Where are you? In fact, let's go ahead and do this. Let's do this little number. I'm going to take this, and we're going to put this right here. Where's our bat signal? DW, we don't know where you are, pal. But we're going to toss up the bat signal. DW. I haven't seen him in a while. Aloha, welcome back. I'm glad we didn't have to throw the bat signal up for you. We do have the number one super chatter of all time is Ron Navy 765. Aloha did have the record at one point. I think he had the $500 record, but Garrett's got the $600 super chat record. Garrett, appreciate you, Garrett. You're my boy, Blue. And Garrett owns the emoji that is going to be given to anybody. Aloha said he sent another super chat. Okay, I'll look. Garrett owns an emoji that's given to the highest super chatter of the year. So Garrett currently of the 2023 season has the highest super chat of $600. That is the gorilla and eggplant emoji. If you guys could drop the gorilla and eggplant emoji for me right now in respect of Garrett's highest super chat of the year, I appreciate that. And if anybody drops a $601 super chat, they get control of that emoji. I'll make it their avatar, whatever they want within reason, as long as it's appropriate. And you will own the emoji. It'll be your emoji. You'll have it until somebody knocks you off the mantle. All right, so let's go ahead and check out these. Let me kill the music. Let's go ahead and check out these remaining super chats, and then we'll take some phone calls on the situation. Super chat from Angus. Appreciate that again. Aloha says, I'm back, baby. Aloha said this as well. Let's have this read for us, because does a better job.
Aloha Chiefs Superchat $4.99 from Aloha Chiefs. I'm in training of becoming a GM and I've been working 6 days a week. I had 84 hours my last paycheck, so I've been really busy. Sorry I haven't been here.
Hey, we're proud of you, Aloha. Congrats on the hours, the training, and everything. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Can you show the satellite list if you don't mind? We're gonna have to revamp this, so I might, as soon as I press the button, I might take some players off.
Satellite men. Space cadets in training.
Ridley was moved to the Moon Man list, so he's gone. Pitts is on the Satellite Man list. I think that's going to remain for now. Flowers is potentially capable of jumping back onto the Moon Man list. These guys aren't going anywhere. Young's interesting. I'm going to take Young off because I want this to be a very, very meaningful list. JSN might vault onto the Moon Man list, to be honest. Richardson, I'm going to take Richardson off right now. I'm just not feeling it. We need to redo the Satellite Man list and have it be very, very impactful and meaningful. But right now, I'd say this is the Satellite Man list. I'm taking Anthony Richardson off. I can't, in good faith, put him on there anymore, guys. And I feel like I'm misguiding you because I don't trust that situation whatsoever at all. I don't trust it at all in Indy. It feels like a disaster. It feels like an absolute disaster in Indy. Go forward. Thank you, Aloha. Aloha says, I sent another super chat explaining where I've been. Thank you for dropping all those super chats. Thank you, Dallas Sports. Thank you, Aloha, for your triple wad. Angus and Mark Cleveland so far. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to open the phone lines and we're going to discuss, what you think could happen in this situation. The only way out for JT owners or prospective JT owners are people looking to draft him in the third round right now, because I bet you he falls to 3.1, 2.10. I bet you he falls to the third round. I bet you he gets cemented into the 3.1 to 3.8 territory. And I don't know that I take him at 3.1. Like, Gibbs is available at 3.5. Is anybody taking JT over Gibbs? I sure as hell am not. I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs all day long over JT. I don't know what's in store for JT. You think I'm going to put my fantasy season on the line trusting not only the Colts and Irsay, but a running back that's disgruntled in the current climate that is the running back climate? I don't think so. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs to the moon, and I'll show you the science as to why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 running back. But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs' workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt, things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 running back instead of top 6 to 10. This man, Jahmyr Gibbs, he looks better than Kamara looked coming out of college, more prepared to become Kamara. This man, Jahmyr Gibbs, he looks better than Kamara looked coming out of college, more prepared to become Kamara. Schmitty, did you just say Gibbs was more prepared to become Kamara than Alvin Kamara was prepared to become Kamara? Sorry, that was a little loud at first. I turned down the volume on that. So we have take Gibbs in the third in a 10-man league. The late third, you want to get Gibbs in the middle to late third as far as you can. You don't want to take him in round 2. You don't want to take him in mid third if you don't need to. But like, you can't trade and you're sitting there at 3.6. bro, I'm not going to tell you not to take Gibbs at 3.6. Just do not take him in the second round getting excited. I see somebody said, Smitty, would you take JT over Mixon? I would at this point, but you never know how this is going to go. You just don't know. It could go so far. Sick Nasty says he's not touching JT. JT fell to the end of the fourth round in the draft shortly after. I don't blame anybody. JT over Gibbs. Alex, what in the heck you talking about? JT over Gibbs. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Dial in, Alex. Not to go at your take too hard, but I would love to know your thinking here. I would love to know your thinking here. Like, what is this because you own them? You have to be a JT owner. There's no way, Alex, you could say this with a straight face right now, and not be a existing JT owner that's just trying to look at the positive. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, broski? Detroit Fitness. Thank you for the $1 holler. Appreciate you, pal. I appreciate you. Thank you, No Mercy. Appreciate you. Phone lines are open, and I specifically want Alex to call.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Ursay's a moron. That's my opinion. I think this is a really, 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 really bad situation in Indy. And I think it's going to implode. And I think that there's just no real way that this could be positive for JT if he doesn't get traded. Because even if he comes back and plays, even if he comes back and plays, he's disgruntled. This is a bad situation. He's going to be not playing for a while. His risk of injury goes up. There's a lot of negatives involved. And Alex responded with, JT is nice. How could you doubt that? Call in, Alex. I'm Alex, again, I'm not trying to is there an argument to be made here? JT over Gibbs? Sure. There's an argument to be made that maybe I shouldn't have even hit the take a lap button. I did that more of an emphasis of, look, my community's taking Gibbs over JT, about 95% of them. And Alex, you don't have to do everything that I do or everything everyone else does. I don't want you to feel that way. That you can't disagree with me without getting the take a lap button. It will happen on some of the Moon Men, and that's just the nature of the show. And then I'm not saying I'm faking that. That's how I feel. Take a lap, but I can pull myself back a little bit. I can say, Smitty, control yourself a little bit and realize there is an argument to be made here. But it sounds like you don't even see the argument, Alex. So I want you to call in and debate this with me real quick, because I don't know how you couldn't see it. Like you're saying is nice, but how can you doubt that? How can I doubt what? How can I doubt what, Alex? JT may not play. He may not. He probably will show up, but you've got the team trying to put him on the NFI list, the non-football injury list. You have the team potentially trying to make him not play football this year and to save money, and that's their goal right now. You can tell their goal is to get him in a position where he can earn game checks. They don't want JT playing 2023, Alex. So I really would love you to call in, because this feels like a very strong stance you have, and I want to hear it. Maybe you can convince me that this is less of a bad situation with your argument. But this feels like you don't even know what's going on in the news, Alex. I appreciate you. I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I just want to have a conversation. We got Jimmy44 on the phone. Is that your YouTube name, Jimmy44, or what? Why am I calling you 44?
Because you remember I had to call you 44 times?
Oh, yeah. Bro, this guy, Jimmy, one time I was doing something, he called 44 times straight, and I had to answer. I'm like, Jimmy, what is going on, bro? What's up?
What's up, Smitty?
You're live.
Smitty, is the running backs really that undervalued? We're talking about a guy that was the clear number one overall pick in all of fantasy, and then the Colts are not even trying to pay him it's less than $10 million a year. They're paying Danny Dimes $40 million a year, $40 million, and they don't even want JT to play his current contract. What the heck is going on here, man?
Yeah, look, let me be honest with you, because I have two different ways that I feel about this situation. I don't go back and forth. There's just two very like firm arguments that I have. Number one, I feel like you can't force a team. Alex says he thinks it's all smoke. Well, call in. Alex, I promise I'm not going to like get mad at you or anything. I just want to have this discussion with somebody that views it differently than me. A lot of people say that I get mad at people for disagreeing with me. Why do I invite people to call in and debate it? Because it's great for the audience to hear both sides of the debate. People that just hate on my style or that I get angry and yell and they think I don't like when people, if I didn't like it, why would I open my phone line up? I mean, you know what I mean? It's crazy, some of the things that people say. But anyways, Alex, I want you to call in because I'd love to debate it. You think it's all smoke, but there's a lot of risk here, Alex. It's not like this is somebody like pretending they're not going to, show up like Barkley in a sense. This is worse than that. There are different layers to this cake, bro, that are getting baked in early on that we don't know if we can undo. So there's a lot of problematic.
There's a lot of smoke, but that's just extra risk.
It's extra risk, but you have them trying to put him on the NFI list.
That part could be smoke, but we don't know if it's smoke or not. Maybe they really are. That's too risky. I'll take Gibbs over him all day.
Your question was regarding the NFL running backs and the value. Here's my stance. You can't force a team to pay a position they don't want to pay. And there is some truth to the fact that, like, okay, you know what? The market's going to self-correct. If running backs are so valuable, and some of them are, but a majority of them aren't because they get hurt, then don't you think a team, all it takes is one team out of 32 is going to eventually say, hey, you know what? We disagree. Look what the Detroit Lions did. The Detroit Lions drafted Jahmyr Gibbs at number 12. They could give two shits about what people have done in the past. They didn't care at all. They said, we want Jahmyr Gibbs. We want him at 6, but we're going to wait until 12 and take a big risk. And people are like, risk? No one's taking Jahmyr Gibbs before 12. You're the only one going to take him before 25. But that's not true. There were a bunch of teams that had very, very big interest in getting Jahmyr Gibbs. There were more than one team, the Detroit Lions were one of them, that had Gibbs above Bijan on their draft board. Gibbs is a playmaker. He's an absolute monster. And all the haters out there that think that no team was going to take him before 12, there was absolutely a couple teams, at least from my knowledge of it, and the people I know that are close to the situation, a lot of it is, hearsay from other people, but I feel very strong about what I've heard because I heard it before it got confirmed, and now people are saying all over the place that there were multiple teams that wanted Jahmyr Gibbs before 12. I truly believe it's accurate. But Jahmyr Gibbs getting drafted inside the top 12. You've got Bijan going inside the top 10. There's a potential for the situation to self-correct because all it takes is one team. So there is an argument that the RB is devalued and that you can't force a team to do anything. The problem is the disrespect to the position by Irsay. And a lot of these owners, they're throwing this thing in a whole different direction and they're just pouring gasoline all over the problem. And I do believe the league needs to step in to correct the market value, and then they need to step out of it and let it police itself. You can't force teams to pay a certain amount. You can't force teams to draft running backs in round one. The teams and owners will circumvent whatever you put in place. If you say, okay, you draft a running back in round one, there's no fifth-year option anymore, and they could do that. And also, running backs drafted in round one can only be signed to 3-year deals, or running backs in round one get paid X dollars more. Guess what? Teams will not draft running backs in round one. So you can only do so much to correct it, and you got to hope that the evolution of the position, which is kind of turning to a half wide receiver, half running back, will eventually have some teams, not all, teams like the Colts, obviously not, but more evolved teams like the Lions and the Falcons who say, you know what? They probably would pay Bijan Robinson. I bet you the Falcons will extend him. I bet you the Lions will extend Gibbs. I bet you these are two organizations that I believe are trying to build their teams right, that they will respect the running back when the time comes. The good news is that Gibbs and Bijan have really painted a new picture for what could come for the RB. And if they can attach this movement, these running backs that are really going to bat for the cause, if they can attach onto Bijan and Gibbs, and if Bijan and Gibbs can have big success this year and prove that the position is valuable moving forward, not just from the past, not just the guys that have done it, the guys that are about to do it, I think it can pull this whole situation up and it can kind of self-correct a little bit. The problem is, in the case of Irsay, who's made a despicable display of just, I don't know, just disrespectful disregard to not only JT as a person, as a human being, but as a position, a player, and just disregard for players in general. Like saying that if I died and JT was out of the league, tomorrow no one would care. They'd move on. Like just the disregard for another human being, you know, not only JT, but other people in the league. What does he mean? No one would care. No one would care. No one would care if anybody. There's so many players in.
Wait, that was his actual quote?
Yeah, and it's ridiculous that Irsay's even getting away with this. You know, I don't even understand why this is headed in a direction where Irsay's made these ridiculous claims and statements. He's practically like crapped all over the running back position and JT, and it just goes without any sort of like ramification. Like this is an owner. It reminds me of Dan Snyder so bad. Like this starting to smell like Dan. I feel so bad for Colts fans right now because your best player, JT's your best player. Anthony Richardson's not your best player. He could become the best player. Your best player, this owner doesn't even want him on the field. Not only does he not want to pay him, and he's so disrespectful how he tells him he's not going to pay him. Completely disrespectful how he tells him. It would be one thing if he said, look, it's not in our plan right now. JT, we want you. We need you. You are the heart and soul of this team. No, he craps all over him. And at this point, it's like.
He doesn't even have to say that. He could just like say, hey, you know what?
That's what I'm saying.
You feel as if we don't want to.
Yeah, Irsay's thrown fuel on this fire that he can't put out. And I don't know where this is going to go from here. Like I said, my hope is that the running backs of the future, the changing of the guard, the Breece Halls, the Kenneth Walkers, the Gibbs and Bijans, they can change the narrative about how important the running back position is. Because I promise you, if they can stay healthy and do great things, it eventually will pull the running back value up. Because you being like, look what McCaffrey did for the Niners last year. Like, I do believe if that continues to happen to where a role player like that can lead teams into, you know, success, there will be a self-correction. But the league does need to kickstart it a little bit by removing the franchise tag for running backs, something that teams can't circumvent. You can circumvent a first-round running back gets paid more. You can circumvent that. And I don't think anytime soon they're going to mess with the contract length of a rookie. That's down the road a lot. So there's not much you can really do at this point. But I'm just so disgusted by the Colts, Irsay, and what's going on. And I'm fading Anthony Richardson right now. I'm fading Pittman. I'm fading every single player in a Colts uniform. And it's sad because it has nothing to do with the team, like the players. It has to do with the ownership. It has to do with the direction of the team. And you can't, when something's broken at the top, or if a better example would be the foundation of a house. If you build it on cracked foundation, and that's the ownership and the way they're running things, the whole house is going to be unstable and come crumbling down. Let's go to Ron Navy real quick and see what Ron thinks of the situation. What's up, Ron? Marsman Ron.
Hey, I was saying in the Marsman Moonman room that I think Irsay has that slave owner mentality. He's showing it. He's showing his true colors right now. And it would be great if like Peyton Manning would come up and publicly say that Jim Irsay, just kind of like what Aaron Rodgers did with Sean Payton. Defending Hackett and all that, right or wrong. But if Peyton Manning would come out, because he's the guy for the Colts, right? He's the guy. So if he comes out against Irsay, that's going to make Irsay look really bad and make, that might do something. But are these rookie running, when they get drafted, do they have to sign 4-year contracts? Can they say no? I only want a 3-year contract.
No, it's a 4-year with the 5th year option if you're a first rounder.
That's only if you're a first rounder.
Yeah, I said if you're a first rounder, it's 5 years. It's a 5th year option. If you're not a first rounder, it's 4 years. But it's 4 years, but the 5th year option is only for first rounder.
Just have to sign the contract. I mean, they can negotiate their contract, can't they?
They can't sign a 1 or 2 year deal, no.
I didn't say 1 or 2. I said 3 years.
I believe it's 4 years and for everyone, and then it's a 5th year option. So there's no ability to go downward. So it's a 4-year deal. First rounders have an additional 5th year option for the team. Real quickly, Detroit Fitness says, I drafted A.J. Brown first and Hurts in the second round, half-point PPR, 12-man team. Your thoughts? You drafted A.J. Brown in the first, Hurts in the second. I don't mind that at all. It's better in best ball to stack, but it doesn't mean it's bad in a potent offense. So it's not like that's a detriment to you or anything like that. But it's not something you get like any advantage, points for, especially in redraft where, it's not the same thing. You're not going up against 300,000 people and trying to eliminate odds of getting things wrong and things like that. So that's why the stacking doesn't really help you or anything. So like example, would I rather have Garrett Wilson and Hurts than AJ Brown and Hurts? Yes, the stacking does nothing for me in redraft. But to just say that I love that duo and it's such a potent offense, it'll be fire. So I think you did good there. Half PPR, yeah, that's fine. I have no problem with that. If Bijan were there, I would have taken Bijan in a millisecond. If Garrett Wilson were there, Detroit, I would have taken Garrett Wilson in a millisecond over A.J. Brown. But I don't hate A.J. Brown at all. It's still a good pick. Alex, call in if you want. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, this is sucks, man. It's not just that, like, I could, if things were really calm and respectable about the running backs, if the owners weren't saying things like this, and not every owner is, but there has been a lot of like bad chatter even outside of the Colts situation about RBs, and and I don't know how much of it's true and how much of it isn't even exposed yet, but if it was just respectfully like, hey, we have a budget and the way we see things right now, we gotta can't go after an RB, but the fact that everyone's saying we don't need RBs, it's like the owners, and not all of them, but the owners and teams have this sort of like pact of, we're just not going to pay running backs. We're not going to extend running backs. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And I got to think there are a couple, teams and owners out there that will maybe boldly stand against this and sign a running back. It would have been nice if the Giants would have stepped up and said, you know what, watch this, guys. And it would have totally helped change the narrative. It would have made like a cracked door, an opening for RBs to maybe, like if if Barkley would have signed a 3-year deal and balled out this year, it would have been like a nice little proof of life for running backs going forward. The real problem is that running backs truly have a tough time doing anything after their first deal. So from a technical standpoint, the teams are doing nothing wrong by giving a rookie his rookie deal, letting the deal run its course, and either franchise tagging once or not, and jumping off the running back and going and getting another. Because usually year 5 or 6, they fall off. So, like, they're not doing anything wrong, technically speaking, but the disrespect to them and the ones that have proven that they should and could deserve another 2 or 3 year deal, that's the part that sucks, because if those guys can't get it, then the guys that have like little chance of it won't get it, and it's like this cycle. And I do believe maybe there's a solution in terms of like shorter rookie deals, or allowing rookies to just be paid as much as anybody in the NFL. Which in a sense Bijan is at the running back position. The running back position is so devalued. Bijan is the highest paid running back right now. like that shouldn't happen too. Like the rookies is designed now, the NFL, to not pay rookies as much as the big dogs. But Bijan's the highest paid running back in the league. So I mean it's just crazy. But I really do hope Bijan and Gibbs help change the narrative, because I think they can. They got a lot of power in this situation. But guys, my question to you would be this. So I got Jimmy and Ron on the phone. The phone lines are open. Dial in if you want. My question is this. Irsay said, I will not trade We will not trade Jonathan. He said not end of discussion. Not now, not in October. He's been very adamant that he's not trading JT. Given the new light that has been casted on the Colts by Irsay's stupid decision-making and comments and opening his big mouth, do you think that maybe a team does inquire and we end up seeing this thing shift back in a direction to where a team offers a second and a fourth rounder, let's say it's the Chargers as an example, and then Irsay says, you know what, I can get rid of this problem and I'm just going to do it? Or is he going to pull Houston Texans ownership, let's destroy Deshaun Watson, even though I do think Deshaun Watson had a lot of reason to not play. Are we going to see Irsay take this in that direction where he's like, I'm just going to let the house burn to the ground before I give this player what he wants? It's tough to know. Like, Irsay can kind of make this go away by trading him, like a little bit. He can throw a little water on the fire. But if he just tries to NFI JT or go in a weird direction, he's just going to cast more spotlight on it. I don't know that he cares. I don't think he thinks he's invincible. But I think that there's still an opportunity for a trade here. But this is bad news for Anthony Richardson. If he doesn't have JT in one way or another, this is not going to be good for him.
Hey, Smitty, I feel like there had to have been some sort of disrespect between them. Something had to have gone down.
Well, based on Irsay's history and the things he said in the past, bro, I don't think that it was from JT. I will almost. I'm not saying I put money on it or anything, but I doubt JT initiated much of this at all. I think JT wanted a new deal, and Irsay had a stupid.
It originally started because of Najee Harris's comments and talking about the situation of the running backs, and so Irsay originally came out speaking against Najee. And saying that about the collective bargaining agreement and all this other stuff, and that's what sparked JT. Those comments that he made, that's what sparked JT to be like, hey, and Irsay tried to walk it back really quick, saying, that wasn't directed at JT is doing a JT deal or anything, but JT was already heard the comments and he already knew. He felt that, all right, well, my owner doesn't value any running backs, including me. That's what started it.
Yeah, but
I don't want to play here no more, trade me.
Yeah, and he went in to talk to him, and they essentially what I heard is he went in to talk to him, and he said, we're not giving you an extension. And the way that it was conveyed it sounded very direct and disrespectful. We're not doing it. We're not giving you an extension. You're under contract. And so JT requested a trade. So the whole thing's been very, very disrespectful from every level from what I'm hearing. It doesn't sound like, from what I'm hearing, and I wasn't there, but I got a lot of people that tell me what they hear and what they hear and what they hear. And some of it's going to be stretched and there's going to be smoke around some of it. So understand that. Take that with a grain of salt. But what I'm hearing is he literally wanted an extension, told him, are you ever going to extend me? Like they can't, the fact that they bluntly told him we're not extending you, and on top of that, all of his devaluing of running backs, comments and everything, JT probably had an attitude going in, I imagine, but wasn't like a probably an attacking attitude. I think JT is a pretty solid dude, so he probably walked in with a little bit of guard up and said, "Are you just shoot me straight? Are you not gonna extend me?" And they're like, "No, we're not." And so he probably then I want to be traded. And then Irsay immediately came out and said, we're not trading Jonathan. End of discussion. Not now, not in October. And then they want to NFI list him. They sounds like they don't want to pay him. It sounds like they're trying to figure out a way to just burn him. And that's crazy. It's crazy. Like, JT deserves to be traded if they're going to disrespect him like that. It would be one thing to be like, hey, we love you, we need you, we can't do this without you. We can't pay you more. You're under contract, but bro, please, understand. If we could, we would. You're that valuable to us.
They did the opposite.
They didn't talk to him like that at all.
The opposite.
They just basically said, get back in line, get back on the assembly line. Go. They said, go get me a coffee on your way out the door. Is what Irsay said to JT, and JT said, trade me. And then, we're going to put him on the NFI list. And JT said, because of a back injury, right? And then JT comes out with his tweet, never had a back pain, never reported back pain. Not sure who sources are, but find new ones. And again, that's not a Rappaport or ESPN. They're reporting what came out of Indy. They're reporting what feels like a fabricated back injury to put him on the NFI list. So this seems very shady to me. And I want JT out. Free JT. I agree that you can't always get what you want. You want a new contract, you signed a contract. Okay, but this feels different, and this feels like they're going to just burn him. They just want him to get wasted away.
Smitty, what's the dream spot? What's the dream spot for JT to land if they want to trade him?
Chicago. We went over a list yesterday. Chicago, the Chargers would be unbelievable. Maybe that hurts JT and Eckler both, but from a football perspective, for just a moment of football, that would be the thunder and lightning. That would be the cure for Herbert to get 100% right back on track. That weaponry. You put Eckler out at wide receiver. How are you going to stop that? Like if I was the Chargers, I would be on the phone right now. I would be overpaying to get this done. I would be overpaying to get JT in uniform and dominate defenses, because you can't stop that. Then Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Quentin Johnson, one or two could get hurt. They could rotate, you got one of the toughest offenses in the National Football League just with that one addition. And I'm not saying they don't have
and he's still on the contract.
And you keep Eckler healthy, because Eckler running, up the gut 220, 230 times, or 200, even 210 times this year at his age and mileage is not a great thing. You want to throw the ball to him. You want to Jerick McKinnon this guy the rest of his career. And if you do that, you might get another year and a half out of Eckler, maybe 2 years, but at least the year. If Eckler moved to a wide receiver heavy role, I would give him the full year. I really would. Mm-hmm. But under center with the pressure of this situation, not to mention Kellen Moore loves running two backs. So if you got JT there, JT Eckler catching footballs, JT just grinding it out between the tackles, Herbert would have an amazing season, and so would the Chargers. So that would be a dream.
Jim Irsay's ego's ridiculous.
That would be
he's pretty much sabotaging his team. Sorry, go ahead, Smitty.
Yeah, that would be the most ideal football landing spot. Fantasy football landing spot. I mean, we went over the list yesterday. I think I said so no one in the NFC West. It was no NFC South was nobody. We said Vikings were like a potential, landing spot. They may not really feel the need, but it could be an interesting fit if, the price is right and they felt like this was their final attempt before they maybe rebuild or do something at the quarterback position. Maybe if they bring him in, they feel comfortable extending Cousins again and then going for about 2 or 3 more years with that exact package there. That would be pretty solid. Lions not going after him. Packers not going after him. Bears definitely. I say Bears so far. Looking down the NFC, Bears so far the number one landing spot. Commanders, are interesting, but it's Bears. It feels like it's only the Bears in the NFC. In the AFC, it's the Bills. It's the Dolphins would be, on the table. Patriots would probably look at it and we'd be like, why? But Bill does that. Bengals, after the Mixon restructuring, they're all about paying Burrow right now and Higgins. They did all that to make room, so the Bengals are not going to be interested. Ravens, the Bears, the Chargers. I would say the Chiefs are interesting, but I don't want that because they just don't use players they acquire like that, like you think they're going to, and they love Pacheco, so I don't think they're going to go after that at all. It would probably be the Ravens, Dolphins, Bills, Chargers, Bears.
Yeah. Or the Bills, that'd be nasty.
I mean, it would be, but at the same time, like, would they use him right? I don't know. They probably would. I don't think you acquire JT. That's definitely a higher level player than they've ever, sought after. So it'd be a little different. And Dolphins. So here are the teams: Miami, Chicago, Buffalo, Chargers. Who else did I say? Miami, Chicago, Buffalo, Chargers.
Bears.
Yep.
And the Ravens as well.
Baltimore, yeah. Baltimore. Anybody else did I say? Let's see.
Smitty, I got a question for you.
Yeah,
so all these players, they're just to change the subject a little bit. All of these players, they're kind of going around the same spot. Remind you a little bit over. How would you rate them? Gibbs, Ramondre Stevens, or Rashard White? And I know you like Gibbs over Rashard White, but Rashard White's the clear cowbell. I just worry about Gibbs not getting goal line touches.
It's
Montgomery there.
It's Stevenson and Rashad number one. You said Stevens and Rashard. We got you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble on draft day if you're typing these names in trying to find them.
I'm a Bucs fan too, man. Like a diehard Bucs fan.
Rashad. Yeah, Rashad, not Rashard.
Yeah,
Rashad. It is going to be Gibbs, then Stevenson, and then big space, like monster gap between those two guys and Rashad White. It's not that Rashad White's not good, but yeah. What are you going to do? Draft him in the third round? Like, I mean, Gibbs is in the third to fourth. Stevenson's in the third. Like, what are you going to do?
Rashad is the clear cowbell.
But where do you envision him going though? Right now, when I said they're a clear gap,
third round, they're going. His ADP on ESPN, for instance, like 37. Where
no, it's not
like 33.
No,
yes, it is.
No,
yes, it is, Smitty.
Rashad White. If Rashad White is 37 overall on ESPN, first of all, that is the most ridiculous ADP ranking I've heard all offseason, and I like Rashad White. He was a moon man. But I find that really hard to believe. I haven't done a lot of ESPN mock drafts, so could it be? Sure.
Why? No,
37 overall. Bro, you're talking about 4.1?
Something like that, yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's in the 30s.
Somebody confirm that with me. I'm not sorry, Jimmy. I'm not calling you
no, you're good, man. You're good.
A liar or anything. I think maybe you misremember. 4.1. I haven't seen Rashad. I haven't seen Rashad White go anywhere near that territory in any sort of format whatsoever. But the fact
why wouldn't he go, Smitty?
Why wouldn't he?
He's a clear cowbell. Yeah, there's no one around him. Nobody.
It's a bell cow, not a it's a bell cow, not a cowbell. This is why Jimmy, you're
I just woke up.
I know, but Jimmy, you're mixing up a lot of names and cowbells and bell cows. So like, part of me thinks you're mixing up rounds.
Just because I said the names wrong doesn't mean I'm incorrect about this one.
Look, if you are correct, ESPN has a data error in their ADP because Rashad White is not a 4.1 ADP guy. He's going in like the 8th round, bro.
What?
What do you mean?
That's
what?
Ridiculous.
What do you mean?
What?
It doesn't matter if you're
It
doesn't matter if you're the cowbell or the bell cow or whatever. There are a lot of bell cows in the NFL. He has one of the worst situations in the entire National Football League.
Who else is a bell cow that's going? Who else is a clear number one guy that has nowhere near as talented as Rashad White?
I don't know what you're smoking. His ADP's in the 80s. Enough of this conversation. Enough of this conversation, bro.
Screenshot it. I'm gonna
bro,
send it to you,
bro. Enough of this conversation. This is like talking to somebody about the Earth being flat. Like, this is really going nowhere. let's
Smitty,
move on.
Tell me another bell cow that's as talented as Rashad White.
Bro, again, this is like talking to a flat earther right now. This is the audience, the people in the chat are just absolutely laughing, bro. Come on, you're making.
Don't insult a genius like myself, Smitty.
Bro.
Tell me another bell cow or cowbell. He's both.
I can, but hold on. I'm trying to kind of emphasize something for you. He's 105 he's going 105 on Yahoo. He's going in the 10th round on Yahoo.
That's
You're
a
in here.
robbery.
Hold on. You're in here. No. Hold on. You can't say highway robbery when you just thought he was in the 4th round.
Well, he is in fantasy. And,
He's
yeah,
not.
sorry,
He's
ESPN.
not. He's not.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of.
Hold on. Let me ask the audience. Somebody go on ESPN and look at the ADP if you can find
Casey
it.
Bird just put in the chat that on ESPN they got him at 24.
24 running back
He just said that 24.
for running back.
Rashad White at 4. I don't know.
For probably running back. Bro.
I don't know. Ask Casey. He's
Yeah.
in the chat.
Yeah. Well, Casey, 24th running back. Anyway, look, you want bell cow? Okay, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Bijan Robinson, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, Ramondre Stevenson, Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs, Najee Harris, Travis Etienne. You're wasting my time, bro. Like, let's talk about something else. You're literally flat earthing this whole conversation. Nobody thinks Rashad White's anywhere near 4.1. Nobody, except for you. And I appreciate you, Jimmy. But this is a ridiculous conversation. It's not even close. It's not even close. You're talking about 40 or 50 picks apart from where you think. We're talking about 4 or 5 rounds you're off on this one. Yeah, like, good news for you though, Jimmy, because if you love Rashad White, and I love him, but he's in a horrible situation. Horrible situation.
73 on ESPN overall.
73 ESPN overall. So, Jimmy, what do you have to say for yourself?
Okay. Would you rather have Rashad White or J.K. Robbins?
It's J.K. Dobbins, Jimmy. I'm done with this. It's not Robbins.
Dobbins.
Finish him.
I told you, I just woke up.
Call terminated.
I'm sorry, I can't handle that. That's just too much. He's not even listening. J.K. Robbins. Okay, I'm gonna trust him saying the ESPN's got him at an ADP of 4.1. Rashad White when he's saying Rashad White, J.K. Robbins, and what was the other one? Come on, Jimmy. Wake up a little bit. Before you call the show, be up for at least 10, 15 minutes before you dial in. This is like when somebody calls you, you're half asleep, and you make some stupid decisions and you talk about some topics you shouldn't be talking about yet. This guy woke up 2.5 minutes ago and says that Rashad White's at 4.1 on ESPN. I don't know what he's thinking. But thank God Jimmy called today, though, because if his draft is coming up and he was going to take Rashad White in the 4th round, he would have got laughed out the building. More cowbell. I love Jimmy.
JT. I think talking about the teams that he could go to is irrelevant because he's not going anywhere.
I feel like there's that possibility.
In fact, the Giants already showed the rest of the league how to deal with the running backs because Saquon folded and they got Saquon and that's exactly what Irsay sees and he's going to hold on to him and then he'll use the franchise tag because who are they going to use the franchise tag on in Indy anyways? He's their best player.
Well,
so nobody else really.
Yeah, they'd use it to sabotage him, but if JT doesn't perform, they're not going to use it. But, yeah.
It's not if or what, but they will. They definitely were going to sabotage him. That's the mindset. That's Irsay's mindset. And if one way or the other, he's not going to get traded. He's not going to go to no team.
Batman and J.K. Robbins. The chat is just having a good field day right now. Poor Jimmy. Jimmy, I love you, pal. Jimmy, I hope you aren't upset. But you sure were gripping to something that you shouldn't have been gripping to. I don't know why he had such a kung fu grip around that 4.1 ADP. I'm not an idiot. Okay, even ESPN is not going to have Rashad White anywhere near the 6th round, let alone 4.1. And he comes in adamant. I'm going to send you a screenshot. J.K. Robbins. Would you... Jimmy, you got to... Oh, boy. J.K. Robbins. More bell cow. He's the cowbell. He's the cowbell, Smitty. I'm telling you, the guy had everything backwards the entire call. Like, am I really going to trust him at the 4.1? He's got that reversed. It was 8.11. Here's Jimmy again. Hold on. Oh, Jimmy, I hope you're not mad at me. We had to do it. You were getting everything wrong. The entire call. You need to wake up for at least 5 or 10 minutes before you dial the show, bro.
I got you, bro. But listen, J.K. Dobbins, I'm messing up, all right? But I just went on ESPN right now, okay, and his ADP is 48. That is not an error. That's not me just saying random numbers.
ADP,
I know it's J.K.
Rashad
Dobbins.
White's ADP is not 48. We just checked. It's in
Brother, I just screenshot it. How do I? You want an email? Do you want a fax? What do
I
you
don't
want?
look. I don't care what you're looking at. You're looking at something you sorted wrong, or you filtered it wrong, or you've got RB selected, and he's the.
It's not RB selected. It's
Hey,
overall.
Hey, I'm telling you, he's not 4.1, bro.
So if he's 48, how are you gonna? I'm looking at it now.
First of all, hold on. First of all, you've been wrong the entire time, Jimmy. You said 4.1. Now it's 48. Now it's changing again, and now it's
okay. I changed it.
Okay, but you see what I'm saying? You're telling me how certain you are, and then you're not, and you're wrong. Then you tell me you're certain, and then you're wrong. Like, what do you think I'm going to take your word of something that feels so against everything in my soul? He's not 4.1 or 48 or
38. I was incorrect.
I know you were.
Off. He's 48.
No, he's not. We just had people on.
In my last underdog draft, which was last night. He went in round 8 at pick 94.
Okay, but I'm telling you what's the number. ESPN is number one news draft.
And then the other one I did it. See, Rashad White went in the 8th round at 92. I did three VP4s last night. Let's see, on this one, he went in the 7th round at 77.
Dude, who cares about what you guys are doing? Just go on ESPN right now. Click mock draft. You'll see the ADP. What are you guys talking about?
But Jimmy,
you wrong. And if you can't realize that ESPN is wrong, then go and draft them all day long and lose your league because everybody else knows his true value.
Yeah, Jimmy,
I'm not telling you whether his ADP is correct or not.
Jimmy, let's just say he's going at 48. Let's just pretend in your world, which you're in a weird world right now. You're in an alternate parallel Spider-Verse, okay? Because it's not true. Everyone in here is saying they've checked ESPN and he's not going where you're saying. So I don't know what you're filtering, what you're looking at. I don't know. I'm not there. But Jimmy, you've been adamant about this, then adamant about that, and you've been wrong. So I can't sit here and say with a straight face, I even remotely believe that 48's right because you're seeing it. I don't know what you're looking at. But second of all, if you love Rashad White so bad, and let's say ESPN in your world is number 48 overall, which he's not. But if he was, why in the hell would you go draft on ESPN? Because now you're going to have to take him at 48 overall, and you're going to ruin your league, like Ron just said. You can't take him at 48 overall. I don't care what ESPN says. You've got to go draft somewhere else now if that is the true, value that they have him for, because he's not sniffing the 40s. He's not sniffing the 50s. He's not sniffing the 60s. He's not sniffing the 70s. You're taking him in the 80s, very, very earliest you're going to take him is the 80s, and you're trying to argue him as one of the best cowbells in the entire National Football League. Like you just said, argue another player that's more of a cowbell than him. And I could go down literally an entire list. He's not in any more of a bell cow situation than a handful of RBs. Am I taking him over Kenneth Walker? Absolutely not. He's going at 5.1 to 5.12, bro. That's all I'm saying, Jimmy. You're a little off on this one. It's okay. I still appreciate it.
I might even like him more than Kenneth Walker.
Well, we know that, Jimmy. We know you just wanted him at 4. You thought he was a 4.1 overall player. So, of course, you like it. Kenneth Walker's now in the 5th round. So, it makes sense that you would think that.
Listen, I'm not that far off from ESPN ADP. No, I'm looking at it. How about you go on it yourself and look at it? Maybe?
I don't need to. Because, I've got all these people in here that are saying, what is this guy talking about? I got Isaac. Isaac said
I'm looking at ESPN has his average pick at 55 or 54.
So that's even different.
What he's looking at.
They're showing 48 for me.
ESPN has his rank, which isn't his ADP, but his rank of overall players at 48.
There you go.
49.
So how am I that far off?
40,
But like I said, even from the beginning, if this is the case, you need to not draft on ESPN if you like Rachaad White because you cannot pay that price tag. I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what's going on. First of all, you said 4.1. You moved it. You moved the chains on it every time. So I don't know what to believe when you're saying that he's this or that.
Now you're picking on me. I said 38 and 48, bro.
You said,
I said 38.
Okay, but I'm just saying, Jimmy,
you made it seem like I was like 200 off.
Well, you are. Like, I don't care what ESPN says.
I'm not. I was 10 off.
Okay, but you're way off of his real value. I'm telling you, he's not a 50 overall player.
I'm with you on that. That's
Okay,
why I
okay,
asked you.
okay.
Okay, I'm with you on
Okay,
that.
okay. So let's back off that. Now that you're more awake, let's get into a different topic because I don't want to waste time on Rachaad White, who I like a lot, bro, but I like him in the 8th or 9th round. Okay, so enough of this. Enough of this. I could care less what ESPN has. ESPN is a ridiculous platform in terms of their ADP and their suggested rank. Okay. I want to know, Jimmy, what you think's going to happen right here. And I still appreciate you. We gave you a little bit of a hard time, but you gave us a bunch of layups to have a good time with. I appreciate you. Okay, you got thick skin. Jonathan Taylor, what do you think happens to him, Jimmy? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Does he get traded, even though Irsay said we're not trading him? Not going to happen. Not tomorrow, not today, not October. Does a team come along, Jimmy, and say, hey, we need this guy. We're the Chargers. We're the Dolphins. We're the Bears. We're the Buffalo Bills. We're the Baltimore Ravens, who has J.K. Dobbins, as you pointed out. J.K. Dobbins is literally in a bad spot. So are the Ravens. Do they go potentially after Jonathan Taylor? What say you?
No, I think Jim Irsay's ego is way too big. He's sabotaging the team. He doesn't give a damn. It seems like he doesn't even care if there's a benefit to trading Jonathan Taylor. I mean, for him to say that we're not trading him no matter what and putting him on that list where he's not even injured and they won't even play him. He's still in his rookie contract, right?
He is, yes.
So they're paying one of the best premier players in the league on a rookie contract, and he's saying he doesn't even want to play him?
Well, I mean, he's not saying he doesn't want to play him, but that's the insinuation. But JT is he's a unrestricted free agent in 2024. He could certainly get the franchise tag. He's getting paid a salary of $4.3 million this year. He's got a dead cap of only $800,000. So this is a very movable player. If a smart franchise were faced with a situation, and this is not a smart franchise in my mind, at least at this moment in time, I'm not saying there isn't an ability for that to be changed, but this feels like a guy that is out to sabotage Jonathan Taylor. Look at the contract, $4.3 million. This is affordable for a team to trade for this guy. Okay, you could trade for this guy and work out an amazing deal. And you know what he would do? You know how most players would say, I'm not going to be traded unless I get an extension or whatever. This is a guy who would say, I trust you. Just take me. Take me. We'll work it out later, and I'll deliver, and you'll give me a new deal. Like JT wants out bad. $4.3 million, super affordable. Okay, dead cap hit for the Colts, $813,000, super affordable for the Colts to trade him. There's no like, oh, his dead cap's crazy. Like I believe Diggs is like $50 million dead cap. $50 million. This is $800,000. That's nothing to the Colts. So if they could get a second and a fourth rounder, if you are if you are the Chargers, you pay JT $4.3 million. You give up a second and a fourth rounder, and you go win a championship game. Essentially, you could easily.
Maybe and Ron, they pay third string linemen $4 million.
Yeah,
think about that.
Mike, my boy Michael. Michael, you still here? Michael says, what round
Okay,
is he?
I gotta go, Smitty. Good
Hey,
talk,
hey,
bro. Good
Jimmy, I don't want you to feel like I'm sorry if we were laughing a little bit.
Man, don't even quit.
It was good. It was
Don't worry,
good.
bro.
It was funny. I think if you watched it back, it was funny. But I didn't mean to pick
Good
on
time,
you.
good time.
Call in anytime, pal.
It's
I
all good,
really appreciate you later. I felt a little bad. It was just there was a lot of things going on. Like, especially I almost lost it when Isaac dropped this one right here. What did Isaac say? When Isaac said this, I had to turn around. I don't know if you guys saw me turn around, but he said, I personally am a fan of Jamil Gibbs. And hey, you're in good company because Ron gets names mixed up all the time too, and he doesn't take offense to it. So you're in good company. But Michael, are you still here, pal? I hope Michael's still here. Michael says, what round is he taking Dijon Robinson? All right, Jimmy, please don't take offense. It was just good. It was good fun. And boy, he served us up some layups. It was constant layup mode for us. But Michael, appreciate you. Michael to the moon. I'm going to give Michael a standing ovation. Michael has been on my text line longer than anybody in the history of the text line. So he's my number one long-term text line guy. And I just wanted to give Michael a standing ovation for being such a monster. Michael, appreciate you. And Michael, I wish you would call in more. I wish you would comment more. Use the text line more. I appreciate you. So thank you for being such an amazing member. And Pal Derby says ESPN live draft trend, Rashad White 93.4. See, that's what I'm saying. Not that I don't trust Ron Navy who pulled it up. Not that I don't trust that Jimmy seeing it. But I don't really understand what you guys are looking at because there's no way he's 48 or 54 or something. So
here's the thing that we're not looking at though. We're used to the real ADP on Underdog, and I'm sure it's kind of close. But ESPN, Yahoo, and those leagues, they're free leagues. That's where all the casuals go to draft. That's where all the grandmas go to draft. And so
but look.
He's skewed by those casual.
I know, but look, though, Ron. Pal Derby's saying ESPN live draft trend says White is going 93.4. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know And I
looked at it, the live draft trend also. I have it right here, and it's the exact same thing. ESPN live draft trend, and it has them at what did I say?
50 something. It doesn't even make sense.
No, that's what draft is. He's going 55, but they actually have him going 39 on this live ESPN trend.
But what I'm saying is I don't know what you guys are, how your setting is pulling that up because Pal Derby's saying his live draft trend says 93.4. So I'm just saying I believe that you're seeing it, but I don't know why you're seeing that when the regular population like Pal Derby's seeing at 93 where that's where it belongs. So it makes sense. I just don't know why you're seeing it your way and Pal's seeing it his way. That just goes to show ESPN you stay away from in terms of ADP. Don't go near it. The fact that Jimmy, I feel bad for Jimmy because part of Jimmy was seeing something, right? He wasn't right about what he saw because he came in with a different number. It ended up being wrong. But at the end of the day, ESPN was showing him some weird number, which it's not showing Pal Derby. I don't know why it's showing Ron Navy and Jimmy a higher ADP for Rashad White. Maybe it's your scoring. I don't know what the hell's going on, but he belongs in the 80s and he belongs in the 80s or 90s. I don't care what the trend is. So just so Jimmy knows.
But here's the thing: is if you want to kill it. No, if you do Underdog and you want to go over there and kill ESPN ADP and manipulate it, it's perfect to manipulate because you can go over there and you can get your great players while everybody else is using the ESPN ADP and you're scoring and you're knocking out of the ballpark.
Yeah, and here's two discrepancies. So Scuba is saying that I'm an ESPN mock and his ADP is 54, and Pal Derby's saying it's 93. So I don't know what's going on with the scoring. 973 caller, you're live. Who's this? Michael, my boy Michael. What's up, my man?
What's going on? I got to defend Jimmy. I just did a mock real quick on ESPN.
Yeah.
12-team PPR, and they got Rashad White at like 30, 38 or something like that, 35, 38.
But see, that's what I don't understand is why is he all over the place for all of you? Like, what is making that happen? Pal Derby's saying 93. You're saying a higher number than Ron. You're saying a number that maybe Jimmy saw that, and then it changed on him, and so maybe he was remembering correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking just because it's PPR and ESPN. I mean, ESPN, the way they do their rankings, they just base it off the mock drafts, pretty much. They put their own rankings, and depending on where the ADP fall, that's kind of where they rank their guys.
Well,
I mean, you go into mock drafts and
Jimmy, I apologize for saying you weren't seeing what you were seeing, because apparently you were, but you can't blame me for not trusting the direction that all was going, because you were getting everything wrong over and over. But I apologize for blasting you, but I don't change my stance that it's ridiculous to draft him there. And like Ron said, and like I said earlier on that call, take yourself on over to a different platform and draft Rashad White in the 80s and 90s if you truly love him. I don't want anybody to take away that I don't like Rashad White. I'm just not taking him at 30 or 40 or 50 overall because that's an insane draft value. So go on over and draft on another platform. What else is going on, Michael?
That's the same, you know. I'm getting ready for a redraft. I'm not as big a fan of redraft as I used to be. I'm more. I like Dynasty a lot better. I just feel like the format's a lot better.
Yeah. And Pal Derby's saying now he's seeing it 54. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's all over. I mean,
I don't know what it's doing.
Too, like, you do a mock draft on ESPN, and like some people are just so out of touch. So like,
right.
Let's just say they have like the 8th spot, and they don't get Justin Jefferson at pick 8. They're like, oh, this is ruined. So they auto draft. You have guys taking like I've seen Jalen Hurts go first overall. Like, I understand to a point that it doesn't matter, but at the same time, like it's a way to prep. That's why my mock drafts are basically just underdog best ball.
Yeah,
drafts.
and I'll say this that sometimes it feels like, man, if I move my league to ESPN, I could crush everybody, or if I could do a couple, like, I don't know if does ESPN do money leagues? I don't know if they do money leagues, but you could just clean up at that like stupid ADPs. But the other thing is sometimes there's a player going way too high. And then right. you end up it's like a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Smitty,
right now they have Eckler at number 2 overall, which I don't agree with, but it's not unreasonable to think.
Yeah.
I
apologize to Jimmy for that particular piece of it. Fallon says I sandblasted him. Smitty's wrong on the ESPN. Look, I didn't have the ESPN ADP in front of me, but I said even if it is that, then it's not something you follow. And so he started going down the why? That's why we started getting heated about it. It's look, I don't know like I said, I don't know what ESPN shows. I don't do ESPN mocks, and if it is showing that, you need to get yourself on over to a different platform and take advantage. But I already said sorry to what.
Take a Smitty lap.
Yeah, I'll take a lap on that, but I still think that he was arguing the wrong stance for it. But I'll take a lap on thinking that ESPN wouldn't have that, which is ridiculous. We're talking about 90 and 50 or 54. I don't even. I'll take a lap. I'll take a lap for blasting though. Yeah, go ahead.
Honestly, I think if you draft Rashad White in the 4th round, I'd put money on it that your team's not making the playoffs.
Oh yeah. And I love him. I love him, but his situation is garbage. And that was the thing that got me heated is that he's like, name another cowbell. I'm like, well, I mean, I could literally list off all the running backs.
I mean, the line's not good. Baker Mayfield's not the best.
Sean Tucker's there.
You guys want to know? I've already given you my theory as to why the ADPs are so jacked up, is because all of the good veteran like drafters that are always aggressively drafting are all on Underdog or other platforms that we don't mention here. But I mean, why would you mock draft ever again? Like, I really hate mock drafting when I can do a $3 or $5 real league and win money. You know, I have a chance to win money every single time I mock draft. Yeah, you're paying a little bit of money, but I mean, good Lord, you're getting an opportunity to win money, and it's just fun. You love accumulating more teams. So like the drafters, the quality drafters are no longer on the mock draft platforms, and so now you have bad ADP, and I've witnessed it. Like ESPN right now, 54 overall, it's garbage. You come in and you have bad ADP. And you have a lot of people that will join a draft for 4 or 5 rounds and then bail. And then guess what happens? The computer takes over and drafts based on ADP. And so they keep pushing these guys in these same draft slots because the person bailed on their team, and they include all the data in some of these cases. There's no way to have good mock draft ADP anymore because nobody's mock drafting as much at all.
No, and I think the mass majority don't even finish the whole draft. They're in it for like the first 3 rounds, and they're out.
Yeah.
That's all auto draft.
But anyway.
But I mean, that's like, based on ESPN rankings, you're taking Rashad White over Joe Burrow, Lamar, Herbert, like.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I reacted the way I did. I mean, again, I admit that I didn't think something like ESPN's ADP could be so wrong, and I was wrong on that. I should have given ESPN more of a
Keeper's ADP is just screwed up as ESPN's.
I should have been more open-minded that ESPN could be that bad. I'm sorry. That's my fault. I take a lap on that, and I did blast them pretty hard. But, again, a lot of it was deserving. But I love Jimmy. I like Jimmy. Look, the audience loved Jimmy. The audience loved Jimmy. Everyone's talking about bell cows and cowbells. Everybody's talking about Jabril Gibbs. We had Michael super chat. What did you say? Bijan what did you say?
Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, Dijon. I like Dijon Robinson. Anyway, Jimmy, I appreciate you, and I think he knows that I appreciate him. So I don't.
Yeah, I like Bijan and Cabernet also.
Yeah, Bijan. It sounds like one of the Brady Bunch characters. Jan. Bijan Brady. Bye, Jan. Yeah, I've heard about that one. All right, boys. Hey, let's go around the line here. I'm going to jump off here, and we'll be back. We got 200 people in the building. I may come back on another live stream. There's all kinds of news today, I think, that we're gonna have.
Oh yeah, Patrick. They say it's an Achilles injury.
Yeah, Tim Patrick. We had a broken arm for in the Colts running back room with Zach Moss, so that makes the Colts more volatile.
Meeting with Goodell to discuss his side of the story.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jimmy, if you're there, call back in. I want Jimmy back on the line real quick. All right. Hey, the Bruce, we haven't heard from you real quickly. Go ahead, and then we'll cycle everybody off the phone line. But hang tight real quick, Michael. Hold on. Go ahead, Bruce.
What are we thinking of Rodgers telling Sean Payton, keep my coach's name out of your mouth?
I like it. Sean Payton should. You know what? I really believe that Sean Payton. I don't know. It's going to be it's not going to be as easy as people think. It's not a very easy situation, I think, to fix. Personally, I don't think.
It might not be, but I actually, personally, me and you are the same page where we like Rodgers telling Payton off.
Yeah. There's some Alvin Kamara news as well. It looks like Saints running back Alvin Kamara plans to meet with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell regarding his offseason arrest and potential suspension. So let's go ahead and let me put this on screen real quick, and we'll await this. I'm sure I don't think there'll be any sort of like decision made very fast, but if there was, of course, we would go live. But let me put this on screen. So this is breaking here from Adam Schefter. So Goodell and Kamara will meet, and kind of I think they're saying that Kamara wants to tell him his side of the story. And his side of the story is going to be what? I beat a man into the ground, and then I got in a limo or Uber after and made fun of him after, So Kamara doesn't have much of a leg to stand on. But
Roger, that was somebody else in that car. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't do that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They all say that.
Yeah, Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell's going to say,
I'll do a 1-game suspension. I'll do a 1-game suspension, Roger. That's my deal.
Yeah, here's Goodell. This is how Goodell's going to handle it, right? He's going to go, Kamara, we got to suspend you. Okay, hold on. Let me check with somebody on something. What's the best game to bring him back? What's going to sell the most tickets? Okay, we got it. We got a Saints game in the evening game. Oh, we can't suspend him. Let's give him 2 games. All right, yeah, good idea. You'll come back 3 games, prime time. It's all about the money. It's all about the money for Goodell. You're not going to make a good decision here. I honestly think he gets too. Look, the people need to understand it's a misdemeanor. That is it's like making noise outside. That's the misdemeanor he was charged with. It was what was it? Not disturbing the peace. It was I forget the exact charge, but it was something very, very similar. So it's not even conspiracy to commit battery. It's not battery. It has nothing to do with battery or violence. It's like disrupting, the peace type of thing. Is crazy. So it's a very, very small misdemeanor. And to the letter of the law, that particular, now the league still has discretion to have somebody live inside the confines of their, standards, but that letter to the letter of the law would make it to where it's probably under 4 games, but we'll see. Nico dropping a $4 says, got to say some of the stuff I'm seeing about Ritter from camp is concerning, especially for London and Pitts this year. Bro is in witness protection. Thank you, Nico, for the super chat. We'll have to take a look at some of the stuff you're talking about, but I think Pitts is a guy I am fading a little bit more than I wanted to. That's why he was removed from the Moon Men list, because they have a history of not utilizing him properly. That's not the case for London, though. And certainly not the case for the running game. So I have no concerns about Bijan or London, and I think Ritter will feed London enough. But I do worry enough about Pitts because he's still trying to get healthy. So Pitts is a little bit bigger concern. I'm going to Okonkwo and Kincaid over Kyle Pitts earlier. I just think it's a much smarter strategy. Cole Kmet, Okonkwo, Kincaid, those are my dudes that I'm going after instead. Thomas dropping a super chat says White is 105 on Yahoo, Smitty. So that's fantastic. Look, I mean, if somebody came in and told me, I already took my lap and I've already admitted I should have. I don't know that I was that wrong to not believe him when he got everything else wrong, and his number wasn't even correct. He said it was 38 or something, and that wasn't even right. So it's like at some point he was right along the line, and I was wrong, and I admitted it, but it was like I didn't know where that was going to be because I didn't have ESPN in front of me. But 105 on Yahoo, 90-something on Underdog or somewhere around there. Like, what am I supposed to think? That ESPN really has him at 40 or 30? That's ridiculous. Like, nobody should be drafted on ESPN unless you want to take advantage of whatever you see that is there. Then there's some rhyme or reason to that. Thank you, Thomas, for your super chat, and Nico for yours. Bruce, any final thoughts?
Hey, if you want real rankings, just go to your website.
That's true.
That's what I'm going to tell the people.
That's a good plug. I didn't think of that. Thank you, Brucey. That's why Brucey might be the new head of human resources and HR and marketing over here. Rankings, bowl predictions, trade calculator, all that good stuff at thefantasyfootballshow.com. So get on over there. Links in the description. Brucey, we'll see you later, pal.
Yep, see you later. All
right, let's go over to Michael. Michael, any final thoughts, any final questions, any players you want to mention real quick before we jump? We'll be back. Don't worry, we're back for I think we're going to go 8 p.m. tonight instead of 7 p.m. and kick it off a day early. So just know we'll be live at 8 p.m. But anything else, Michael?
No, I'll probably call in later.
Yeah, call in more, bro. We'd love to have you call in more.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Since I'm on the phone, what do you think? Now, I've been getting a lot of negative feedback on this, but I think that Mahomes this year is going to finish as a QB3 behind Herbert and Burrow. Think that's nuts?
No, I mean, it's not nuts. I don't have when I tell people Herbert's not in my top 5, it's nuts. When someone tells me he's in their top 3, I don't think it's nuts. I personally, if they got JT or something, I would circle back around and things would change. But I have Herbert below Fields and T-Law and the big 4. But Herbert's got the talent to get there. I just want to see it before I climb him back into a territory where I've got to move one of those other guys that I don't question out of my top 5. He's not in my top 6. He's number 7. He's number 7.
Can't
But
argue that.
I don't think you're crazy though.
I think Kellen Moore is going to have a big effect on him.
He might. You just need Eckler to stay
volume.
healthy. You need Eckler to stay healthy, and they got to use him right. There's a lot of moving parts. Quentin Johnson's coming along pretty well in camp, but he's still a question mark for me. But, yeah, I mean, it's just preference, bro. I mean, they're all very good. Could Fields be the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football 2023? Yes. Could he be number 5? Yes. Could Trevor Lawrence be 4 or be 7? Yes. Could Aaron Rodgers be 5? Absolutely. Could Lamar be 4 or 8? Yes. I mean, it's really, really the deepest we've ever seen the quarterback position, and they're all young monsters. They're all young monsters. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't draft any of the top 4 anyway. I usually wait for, like you said, like Rodgers or Lawrence or Fields.
Yeah, Fields is the best.
And even if those guys go early, I'll settle for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Take my chances there.
All right, Michael. Appreciate you, man. Call in later.
Man.
Later. Yeah, bye.
All right.
All right, Ron, final thoughts?
Yep, got a few things. First thing is, I don't think you should go 8 tonight. Everybody's got it 7. They know you put it out a lot that it's going to change on the 1st. I think you keep it the same tonight, last night at 7 o'clock. My opinion, anyways. Second thing is, I think Kamara's maybe use the Adams defense, meaning that, hey, Adams pushed the cameraman in front of the whole stadium and on national TV, and he got no suspension at all, so how can you suspend me if you're not suspending him? He might use that defense. Who knows? Third is, are you going to go talk a lot about the Throne League tonight, since it's going to kick off, on the 2nd?
Yeah, we'll definitely be speaking about that, because we're gonna be probably drafting, I would say, like by the afternoon, maybe before the show on Tuesday, because we got the 9 pick in the Throne draft where you guys draft my team for me. We do a vote. If I'm live on YouTube, I'll probably go live for the first round or 2, and then the rest of the lives if we're live and on the clock, we'll vote, and if not, it'll be on Instagram Live. But we got the 9 pick. You guys pick my team for me. We go to battle against other communities, and it's gonna be fun. But we'll talk about that tonight. I'll probably go live somewhere in between, to be honest, because I've got some things I got to try and do with this yard, and so I'll probably be live around. I'll do a happy medium of 7:20, 7:30. I sometimes run late like that anyway, so. But we'll be live, and then going forward after today, it'll be every single show will be at 8 p.m. Eastern. So your Central West Coast times will fluctuate in October. You just gotta Eastern, you'll be fine. It's 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll stay that way. All right, Ron. I'll see you tonight.
All right.
Or earlier later.
All right.
503 caller. You're live. Who's this?
Hey, Steve, Pal Derby.
What's up,
Can
Pal
you hear
Derby?
me?
Appreciate you. What's up, pal?
Hey, I'm just calling to apologize to the guys for putting bad numbers up there, and to Ron Navy specifically. I was looking at the wrong line there on ESPN, and I just wanted to apologize to the guys for putting bad numbers up there.
It's okay. I did go off of that and then end up having to take a lap, but we took a lap together, and it's okay. I really have no regrets about how it went down. It was really funny. I apologize to Jimmy. I think Jimmy was still wrong the entire way to lead me into a position to where it's hard for me to trust that the number was right, because his number was wrong the first time. But I got it wrong. I got it wrong in that that White was that high, but it's head scratching to me. Like, I don't know how on ESPN they could even have him in the 70s, let alone the 50s. So it's
Right.
crazy, absolute craziness. But I still stand by that, you'd have to be off your rocker a little bit to take him anywhere near that value. Like, that is insane. That is insane.
Yeah, when I saw the 94, that seemed right to me. But then after Ron got on there, I looked at it, and yeah, there was a different column and said 54.4, but I wouldn't touch him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to go in like the 8th round or something like that. I think any earlier than that, you're just missing out on a lot of value. All right, pal. Anything else? Appreciate you, by the way.
No, that's it. Just wanted to.
All right, get ready for the drafts. I got to get everybody in the league, accept the invite to the league, and we'll do the Moonman and Marsman drafts live on the channel. I don't know if we'll probably won't do them on the same day, but Marsmen and Moonmen leagues incoming. Appreciate you, pal. Derby.
Yeah, thanks. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, later, pal. Later, pal. I'll see you all later. Don't forget, 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, starting Tuesday. But today we'll probably go live somewhere in between 7 and 8. Appreciate you. Thank you all for all that you do, all your support. I appreciate Jimmy. Can we send Jimmy to the moon? Jimmy, I appreciate you.
The moon.
Jimmy to the moon. Jabril Bibbs to the moon. Dijon Robinson to the moon. Everybody to the moon. Jimmy's my man. Later.